Wealth is not created by money alone. What if I told you that actual wealth encompasses your entire way of living, including your daily routines, mental processes, and personal systems? Learn these 20 fundamental laws that will change the way you think about wealth and your way of living. Beginning right now, law of mindset. Your financial reality is shaped by your thought. An abundance mindset attracts prosperity into every aspect of your life, whereas a scarcity mindset actively drives riches away. With her workout bag weighing heavily on her shoulder, Evelyn Hart looked at herself in the mirror at the gym. She had been coming here for months, aiming to lose her fears and get in shape. In the weight room, however, skepticism was continually murmuring, "You don't belong here." Due to deadlines, workplace meetings, and criticism from her supervisor, she had missed all of her workouts over the week. It was different today. Evelyn would alter not only her routine, but also her attitude today. After reading about the law of mindset, the idea that beliefs influence reality, she took out her battered notepad and got started. "I am capable," she typed on a blank page. "I'm in charge. My mind and body are powerful." As she said these words 3 times, allowing them to sink in, her heart raced. Eyes ahead, Evelyn stepped into the crowded weight room. Instead of dread, she concentrated on creating. She transformed her mental strength into physical strength, lifting for herself and no one else. With every step, doubt gave way to intention. She was determined, not defeated, as seen by her sweating reflection. Although the weights were still substantial, the experience was changed by her shift in perspective. Her muscles trembled after her workout, but her confidence remained unwavering. She realized the real difference as she stepped out into the twilight light. She had fortified not only her physical self, but also her beliefs. This was the true change. Law of gratitude. Accept thankfulness as a means of achieving prosperity. Every instance of sincere gratitude draws wealth into your life. The more you value something, the more strongly you draw it in. By the time she was 27, Alyssa Chang had landed her ideal design lead job at a promising startup. But she still had to face the common reality that success does not equate to fulfillment. Even though she had a lot of innovative ideas and worked late into the night, something significant was lacking. She was chasing shadows rather than catching light. It was no accident that Alyssa learned about the law of gratitude during a brief period of reflection, which had the potential to completely alter her outlook. This potent idea provides a profound change from perpetual want to sincere gratitude for the blessings of the moment. The most successful people are aware of this fact. Realizing your potential, rather than relying just on accomplishments, leads to fulfillment. Despite her skepticism, Alyssa decided to test this life-changing practice, a choice that could change her entire course. She changed her whole perspective with a single morning routine. Instead of instantly becoming overwhelmed by emails, Alyssa took the time to write down 3 things for which she was grateful each day: her considerate roommate, beautiful sunrises, and encouraging coworkers. This small habit, written down in a notepad among her work, led to amazing transformations. Not only did her stress level drop, but it was replaced by true satisfaction. A renewed sense of gratitude spread, motivating her to recognize and honor her teammates' achievements. Most significantly, her appreciation practice had changed the way she responded to inescapable circumstances. She now automatically saw them as chances for growth rather than failures. Her entire approach to work and life was transformed by this little practice, which did more than just improve her mornings. One evening at her office window, Alyssa witnessed the transformation of her life via gratitude. She continued to be successful, but her outlook changed. Sincere gratitude had filled gaps she hadn't previously seen, bolstered connections, and inspired innovation. Law of clarity. Learn your numbers. Establish your objectives. Control is still out of grasp without this clarity, but everything is made attainable with it. Marcus personified the contemporary career conundrum at the age of 27. He was 5 years into his graphic design career at a Chicago business, when he reached a turning point that many people ultimately experience. Was he becoming great or just existing? The solution was revealed in a life-changing podcast about the law of clarity, a concept that has paved the way for innumerable prosperous careers. This potent idea makes it clear that real success doesn't start until objectives are clear. Acknowledging this basic reality, Marcus took the life-altering choice to turn this theory into his own personal path plan. Marcus faced his fears one night by putting them in writing. He clarified that he wanted more from his job. Was it money, projects, creativity, or recognition? Wanting more was too general. He found that leading initiatives that reflected his vision was his primary yearning for creative autonomy. With this clarity, he redesigned his resume to highlight leadership, networked with companies recognized for their creative independence, and changed his portfolio to highlight his personal style rather than that of his agency. Marcus changed his career in 2 months after he got an interview at his ideal agency. What caused the breakthrough? For the first time, he was able to clearly state not just his skills, but also what he was looking for in his future position, and the interviewers noticed this right away. The outcome: Marcus took over as lead designer a few weeks later, managing projects from conception to completion. This is the law of clarity's indisputable strength. Marcus transformed indecisive ambition into definite action by clearly identifying his objectives. Without a doubt, clarity was the crucial element that initially paved Marcus's way, not just the means by which he was able to perceive the way forward. The same may be said for your clarity. Law of self-investment. Your greatest source of profit is you. Improve your network attitude and abilities. Natalie Brooks was already starting to feel as though her life was becoming pointless by the time she was 27. How many of us wake up to the same alarm, hold the same cup of coffee, and question whether this is really all we were made for? This was the universal human need for meaning, not only job discontent. Everything changed for Natalie when she learned about the law of This potent idea provided a clear route forward. If you regularly engage in your own development, the results will change your life in ways you can't even imagine. She had no choice but to take action. She committed to a year of intentional self-investment that very evening, making the choice that would permanently change her course. Would you not follow suit? The 30 minutes that would ultimately change Natalie's whole future marked the beginning of her transition. She was consciously strengthening her intellectual foundation rather than just killing time by selecting leadership, psychology, and finance texts over lighter reading. She made a significant statement when she decided to use her takeaway: money for digital marketing certification. Investing in oneself will always pay off more than fleeting conveniences. This was a conscious reclamation of her potential, not merely a learning experience. Her competitive advantage was her morning regimen. Natalie strolled and listened to podcasts while others napped. Others engaged in informal networking, but she developed deep relationships with mentors who helped her develop more quickly. The law of self-investment became the unavoidable framework that guided all decisions. It was no longer an option. That promotion for 6 months, it was the unavoidable result of the seeds Natalie had meticulously sown via steady, deliberate growth, not a lucky break. Forget about the title change, though. Something much more significant had happened. Natalie had changed from being a passenger in life to its driver. After only a year, self-investment had become more than simply a habit. It was her way of looking at every chance, obstacle, and turning point. Her story is a living example of an indisputable truth. Put yourself first and see how the world changes to accommodate you. Law of long-term thinking. By changing your perspective from days to decades, you can make progress toward financial success. The most prosperous people among us are systematically creating legacies that will survive them rather than obsessing over fleeting lifestyle improvements. Which route are you following? Amara Kwan, the Chief Sustainability Officer at Verdant Holdings, maintained her focus on the real goal: long-term success, measured over decades, while her coworkers were obsessed with quarterly profits. During a crucial board meeting, this fundamental divergence in viewpoint reached a breaking point. There could not have been a more stark option for them. On the one hand, there are genetically modified monocultures that provide short-term financial gains, but conceal long-term expenses. Regenerative agriculture, on the other hand, is an investment in the future that would increase resilience rather than diminish it. Indeed, the figures demonstrating rapid returns were convincing. Yes, bonuses and increases in market share were alluring. However, Amara saw what others did not: the indisputable evidence of a system at its breaking point, declining soil health, inadequate pest control, and a population that was calling for reform more and more. It was getting hard to ignore the real cost of those excellent quarterly figures. Amara gave a vision that will change everything when she was questioned about her position. Our choice now impacts our legacy for decades, not just quarterly reports. In the end, the quick money route extracts more than it produces. Our reputation, our greatest asset, slowly erodes. Our farmers are captured by chemical cycles, and our land deteriorates. However, there is a better way. We create something that endures by working with our growers now, expanding the variety of crops we gather, and restoring the soil, which is the cornerstone of our industry. Although it won't happen right now, Verdant and our communities will prosper long after fast profit businesses fail. She not only provided suggestions, but also a detailed plan that included a 10-year collaboration that invested in regional farmers, strong incentives to spur innovation, and open yearly reporting that assessed both financial stability and environmental impact. Others sought quick profits, but Amara provided something more worthwhile, a future in which Verdant would be a vital, reliable, and successful leader, while rivals vanished. This change required bravery and perseverance through innumerable difficult discussions. But Amara's distinct vision won out in the end. After only 5 years, the results were indisputable. Verdant's lands were more productive, its farmer partners experienced greater success than anticipated, and the company became the acknowledged leader in the new green economy, enjoying the remarkable benefits that come only from long-term planning. Amara has demonstrated what visionary leaders always understand, that decisions taken for future generations have the most potent returns of all, and that patience produces value never before seen. Law of focus. Not only is multitasking unproductive, but it's also a dangerous delusion. Instead, use solitary focus's transformative potential to generate the necessary impetus. Your greatest asset is this momentum, which steadily builds the wealth you want. According to the law of focus, the most prosperous individuals and companies succeed by focusing on only one thing and doing it better than everybody else. Let's examine an illustration. Introducing Alex, a 28-year-old businessman. Alex launched a modest marketing business a few years ago with a limited clientele. Alex initially attempted to provide everything, including branding, email campaigns, web design, social media management, event promotion, and more. The clientele of the business expanded, but it quickly reached a plateau. Alex and the crew were feeling overburdened and distracted on the inside, juggling multiple services all the time. After a few trying months, Alex made the decision to use the law of focus one day. The group investigated which service offered the best value in terms of knowledge and customer happiness, in addition to sales. The explanation was obvious. Their online advertising initiatives consistently produced the best results. Alex had to make the tough choice to stop using any other services. The business would only concentrate on becoming experts in paid digital advertising for new businesses. Some clients departed because this change felt dangerous, but Alex and the team redoubled their efforts to learn more about their new field. Their reputation for producing outstanding results in a single, well-defined sector gained traction within a year. They were sought by startups all around the country. The business expanded more quickly than before, bringing on more specialists and collaborating with others. Alex created a company that is renowned for being the greatest at one thing by applying the law of focus. The narrative serves as a reminder that you can differentiate yourself from the competition and achieve better success by concentrating your efforts and resources on your strongest suit. Law of purpose. Without meaning, money is merely numbers and paper. Spend some time today discovering your why, your genuine purpose, and see how it changes the way you interact with riches. Your life will become more meaningful as a result of this clarity, not just your bank account. Imagine being disengaged from your career throughout your prime years. Maria, 30, worked in sales, logistics, and customer service, never wondering that life was about more than just meeting deadlines and paying expenses. However, one book made all the difference. A significant fact was made clear by the law of purpose. If you match your activities with purpose, you will see a transformation in your life. The solution was right in front of Maria when she finally had the guts to think carefully about what made her happy. It was in those priceless hours at the animal shelter where even the most mundane chores gave her a sense of purpose, not in her wage employment. Her experience demonstrates that meaningful work that aligns with your basic beliefs can provide greater significance than renowned titles. Maria's new goal is to enhance shelter operations by applying her organizing skills. She increased her charity activities, focused her employment search, and studied nonprofit administration. In less than a year, she oversaw a regional program that brought rescue groups together and increased adoptions and resource sharing. Obstacles, such as hard hours and little funds, no longer depleted her, but instead inspired her. Her career and herself were altered when she matched her job with a cause. She personally witnessed the law of purpose in action as her everyday surroundings changed. Law of generosity. Giving freely creates a tremendous impact that enhances your wealth rather than decreasing it. The wealthiest of us are aware of this basic reality, with its twisting shelves, mismatched seats, and the soft sound of book lovers taking solace in stories. Asha Patel operated her small bookstore like a haven. Something in his manner wounded her heart that cold March morning. She never considered herself a charitable person, but she did think that generosity could spread like ripples on water. Right up until Marcus's, her first reaction when he admitted to having financial difficulties was, think of it as a house gift. For difficult days, a little light. For weeks, she had observed this frequent customer, who never made a purchase, haunting the poetry section with progressively aloof gaze. An unwritten agreement amongst patrons was formed when a community shelf developed and books were freely traded. She pressed Rumi's words into his hands and said, "Hey, have you read this one?" She discovered that being generous changed a whole community. Marcus's eyes grew wide with appreciation. I don't know how to thank you. Thanks is not required. Simply spread kindness wherever you can. She questioned this strategy after months of team tension. Her colleagues was taken aback at first, but they opened up when Alex pitched a nonprofit campaign and Zoe shared her enthusiasm for the environment. The pro bono campaign that resulted was a double win for the nonprofit, raising its reputation and inspiring pride among her team members. Emma saw something lovely happen in the meantime. Her team members were becoming more committed to their work, pushing the bounds of creativity and encouraging one another. The deepest currents can occasionally be created by the simplest motions. Emma realized she had found a richer, more significant metric for success as new ventures and alliances cemented the firm's expansion. Emma had transformed her office into something more akin to a flourishing ecology. News of Asher's gesture spread. Regulars paid more or gave books. Although Asha never pursued fame, she witnessed its benefits everywhere. In smiles shared, strangers lending a hand to others, and the satisfaction that comes from giving. Emma changed course and called a meeting to listen rather than evaluate goals. Law of value creation. Concentrate your efforts on improving the lives of people and finding solutions to important issues. Keep doing this, and you'll see that money comes to you naturally rather than the other way around. When you add value, money will come naturally. Emma Chen, a recent promotion at a boutique marketing company, first viewed success as pursuing sales and stats. Her viewpoint was altered by an essay on the law of worth creation, which states that genuine worth arises from fostering the development of others. She urged team members to express their passions and strengths. Even when they went outside of their usual client region, Emma didn't just nod in agreement with their ideas. She actively supported them. News spread quickly. New customers poured in after seeing work that exuded impact and authenticity. Value creation had evolved into their everyday currency and was no longer a pipe dream. There was space for everyone to thrive, from clients to the newest staff member. Emma realized she had found a richer, more significant metric for success as new ventures and alliances cemented the firm's expansion. Law of environment. Your circle has a direct influence on your potential, so choose people who challenge your preconceived notions rather than those who limit them. Instead of detractors, you should have champions for your dreams. Samantha Patel, 28, was confronted with the heartbreaking realization that she was only living half a life in her Saudi flat. Just existing, not failing. Although her employment gave her security, it lacked meaning. Her friendships were consoling, but they never helped her grow. Her dreams silently gave in to pragmatism. Alicia gave Samantha the push she sorely needed, as they sat in a bustling co-working space where ingenuity was evident. Spend a week here. Samantha's surroundings were determining the boundaries of her existence, not merely having an impact on it. And then it was revealed, what had earlier sounded like meaningless self-help platitudes. Growth thrives in the right surroundings, now stood as a potent reality from her cousin. The pivotal moment occurred when she gave her enterprising college friend Alicia a call. She became aware of how confining her previous surroundings were, So she attended seminars and shared ideas. Experience this energy. Be surrounded with opportunities. This was the first move toward change, not just a recommendation. Yes, everything else could wait. Desperate and curious, Samantha said. In contrast to her lonely apartment, she discovered others in the co-working space, brainstorming, working together, and failing forward. Conversations in the break room turned into teachings. Alex uses the basic home coffee machine as part of his morning routine. Even though his peers might spend $5 on designer lattes, simply oats, bananas, and a little peanut butter provide energy without breaking the bank. Living below your means, without sacrificing your values, lays the groundwork for long-term prosperity and independence. This is about empowerment rather than limitation. Both support and criticism helped her ideas and confidence grow. With new contacts, she rekindled her goals by creating ideas for a zero-waste online store. There is no frantic rush to retail establishments. Instead, hidden treasures can be found in thrift stores and friend swaps. That statement couch or ideal coat can be given a second chance at life with a little perseverance. Knowing that it's half the cost of takeout and that nothing will end up in the trash makes every bite taste sweeter. Simply put, Alex S. law of frugality is awareness in action, leaving the never-ending purchasing cycle and finding the value in what you already have. Frugality in Alex's world is making sure every dollar supports the things that really count. Not being stingy, she had entered an area where growth was unavoidable, proving that the law of environment had been effective. As the team's valuable momentum slid through her fingers, Maya, the project lead, could feel the strain on the team crackling like static electricity. I'm you, not back-end. Remember, she embraced a transformational notion, the law of ownership. While others fled behind job descriptions and titles, the organizational reflex we are all too familiar with. Samantha was aware that this was only the beginning. Her new environment had unleashed latent ability. At first, it caused discomfort. However, as Maya jumped right in, meeting with all departments, sorting out deliverables, and setting clear expectations, the environment changed. Law of frugality. Bring any obstacles you encounter straight to me. The end result, I'm fully responsible for that. One key idea is the foundation of financial success. Spend less than you make. Introducing Alex, a 27-year-old junior architect who uses the law of frugality as a secret tool to navigate city life. She stayed abreast of significant events, diffused conflicts before they became explosive, and encouraged people to take charge not by intimidating them, but by modeling it herself. Everything changed after this realization. This isn't because he lacks taste, but rather because it's wise financial management. Breakfast, and whether it's raining or shining. Alex is getting a workout and making the commute for free by biking through the city streets, while others are caught in traffic or watching rideshare meters rise. Alex reveals handcrafted treasures while coworkers use delivery apps at lunch, rice and roasted vegetables from Sunday night, carefully portioned for the next week. When does Alex need a new wardrobe or a new home? This has nothing to do with frugal misery. The reward, living entirely in the city, Alex maintains a healthy financial cushion, feeds investment accounts, and takes fantasy vacations. Law of ownership. Don't exchange time for money alone. Increase your wealth by becoming an owner. Equity opens doors that a salary alone cannot. Maya gazed at the disorganized whiteboard, a battlefield map made up of jumbled designs and notes that had withstood yet another exhausting day. The product launch was only a month away, but issues were growing like rabbits. Team priorities were dispersing like leaves in the wind. Software flaws were growing in obscure areas, and deadlines were disappearing in the rearview mirror. That's not my job. Nobody in marketing bothered to tell us about that change. As blame bounced around the leadership call that afternoon, Maya saw a turning point. Maya took the decisive decision that alters everything by refusing to participate in the deflection dance. I'll take full responsibility for this Project S success, she said. I make it my personal goal to overcome any challenge, whether it be procedural, technological, or communication-related. This was the epitome of leadership, not just accountability. Maya didn't simply assign work when a developer ran into problems. Instead, she got her hands dirty and worked side by side into the night. After 3 weeks, launched on schedule, and received excellent reviews. But a team changed. and that was far more valuable. The real law of ownership, as Maya's crew had learned, was about taking responsibility for difficulties and using it to their advantage. Law of resilience. Every setback is merely the stage being set for your comeback. Keep playing, even when the rules change. The art isn't in avoiding falls, it's in mastering the pivot. Ava Chang stood on top of her apartment building as dusk encircled her, the city below gradually coming to life. After months, the pain of losing her ideal design position was still present. On most nights, the thought of tomorrow felt like sailing an unending, unknown ocean. Would she ever feel confident again? Resilience isn't about standing up all the time, she realized. It has to do with how brilliantly you get back up after falling. Seeing losses as an invitation to evolve rather than as a conclusion is what her therapist dubbed the law of resilience. Something changed tonight with the constellation of lights of the city in front of her. Ava made the decision to pursue new opportunities, viewing her setback as a source of insight rather than a weight that would guide her in the future. Ava's employment search was fraught with rejections. She made improvements after each one, revising her portfolio, getting input, and contacting designers. In order to hone her neglected skills, she joined a creative co-working environment. She recorded little victories during doubts, such as neighbor comments, client praise, and mentor encouragement. These turned became indicators of her perseverance. Ava discovered that resilience was a daily practice of adjusting and pushing forward through failures and hopes, rather than a singular act when she eventually landed her ideal startup employment. Back on the rooftop, Ava's smile showed how she had changed, how she had gained stability, how wise she had become, and how proud she was of the challenging path she had accepted as her own. Law of adaptability. Your capacity to stay nimble and adaptable in the face of change is crucial for success in a world where markets are always shifting and technology is developing at a breakneck pace. Olivia Chen, 26, used careful preparation to establish herself as a conscientious project manager at a software firm in Singapore. When the business teamed with an international client who was notorious for last-minute alterations, her 2-year success record was put to the ultimate test. Olivia found it difficult to adjust as feature requests, design changes, and varying deadlines interrupted her methodically planned approach. Her work hours increased, team chemistry worsened, and she started to doubt her own abilities for the first time. During a late-night conversation with her mentor, Olivia suddenly realized the law of adaptability. The key, thrivers embrace change rather than clinging to ideal plans. Inspired by this insight, Olivia changed her strategy, turning inflexible benchmarks into agile sprints. Instead than dreading failure, she fostered a team that celebrated creative problem-solving and anticipated curveball. Her open lines of communication fostered trust with the customer and team, and her weekly feedback meetings became into testing grounds for improvement. A bright resilience took the place of the tangible strain. Olivia stood strong as the project was launched to roaring applause. Not only as a project leader, but also as a real example of how the most impactful success stories come from making change your ally rather than your enemy. Law of automation. Put your everyday routine and finances on autopilot. Automating daily tasks, investing, and saving frees up your mind for the big, game-changing decisions that really count. Think about Alex, a self-employed graphic designer who oversees several customers. Time was lost to administrative duties rather than artistic endeavors. Alex dedicated a weekend to system setup, embracing the law of automation. They put in place scheduling software that sends Zoom connections and set up meetings automatically. At project milestones, an online invoicing tool produced bills and monitored payments. Client messages were given priority by intelligent email filters, which also archived less urgent correspondence. Alex was able to concentrate on their true passion, design, thanks to these automated solutions. Beyond work, Alex automated document backups and invoices, which had instant advantages. As customers recognized improved service, their stress levels decreased, their revenue rose, and their minds cleared. The law of automation in action. Autonomous systems allowed for innovation and development by letting technology take care of monotony, while Alex concentrated on the important things. Law of financial literacy. It's not necessary for money to be mysterious. By knowing the fundamentals, you may turn financial fear into true confidence regarding debt, taxes, inflation, and investing. Marcus gazed fearfully at his bank statement. He would have blamed takeout and rent last year. After embracing his law of financial literacy, however, everything was different. He looked into financial blogs 6 months ago because he was sick of living paycheck to paycheck. It was straightforward. Budget, keep tabs on expenditures, and make the most of every dollar. He tracked every expense for a month, exposing startling waste on little comforts. He instituted automatic savings transfers with every paycheck and category restrictions. After 3 months, Marcus made significant strides. He reduced his internet subscription, deleted marketing emails, prepared meals, opened a high-yield savings account, and made monthly index fund investments. With an emergency fund that covered a recent auto repair, his balance now appears healthier. Not wealthy, but in charge. He gained confidence and clarity from the law of financial literacy, which demonstrated that every choice he makes shapes his future and is worth more than winning the lottery. Law of multiple streams of income. Are you putting all of your money into one basket? It's a dangerous business. Grow your investments, start a business, and develop royalties to diversify your sources of income. Reality set in when Sarah turned 27. Her marketing salary was disappearing due to bills, student loans, and those dreaded surprise expenses. Then she discovered the law of multiple streams of income, which changed everything. Farewell, risk of a single income, her initial action. On the side, I do freelance copywriting. She got her first client with simply a basic portfolio website and some audacious marketing to nearby companies. She was able to breathe easier financially thanks to that additional $300 per month. Sarah's need for more led her to pursue reselling old clothing, turning weekend treasure hunts at charity stores into an unexpectedly profitable second side business that occasionally even outperformed her copywriting job. By the end of the year, she was looking for passive income and found index funds that paid dividends for her freelancing income. Although the initial dividends were modest, it felt empowering to see her account increase. As soon as one source of money slowed, another compensated, and Sarah's sleep improved. For her, the law of multiple streams of income offered options and stability rather than sudden riches. She is still on the lookout for chances today because she knows that every stream, no matter how tiny, moves her closer to financial. Law of delayed gratification. Your future freedom is equal to every dollar you save today. This is the unchangeable law of wealth development, not merely advise. Give up now to gain later. Imagine a brand new game console that has been on Marcus's kitchen table for months without being used. He had craved it since its release and purchased it with his first tech firm bonus. So it wasn't because he didn't want it. Rather, it was because he had finally seen a pattern that was undermining his prospects. Marcus gave in to impulsive buying for years. The shoes, the technology, the memberships, each gave fleeting happiness that vanished almost immediately. When he looked back on his spending one night, the harsh reality struck him. While he pursued transient pleasures, his funds stayed frozen, and his actual goals, graduate school, traveling the world, drifted farther away. His metamorphosis began at that time. His new compass became the law of delayed gratification. The profound realization that overcoming today's temptations leads to tomorrow's victories. That unopened console is the first step to the life Marcus genuinely deserves, not merely a test of his willpower. Isn't it time for everyone to think about how our futures might be changed by unopened boxes? Marcus took a different route, as his buddies were engrossed in virtual worlds and late-night gaming sessions. He worked overtime, gave up weekends to hone his coding abilities, and saw his travel fund increase steadily. That console, still in its shrink wrap, a reminder of his bigger purpose every day. Even though the path wasn't easy long nights, challenges at work, and the incessant nagging to just play it now, his resolve remained unwavering. His ambition became a reality when his account eventually enabled him to reserve that flight to Japan. It was only then that Marcus cracked the seal, had one successful gaming session, and packed the console for his journey. What he found included transformation rather than merely postponed pleasure. In addition to providing him with a game system and a trip, the law of delayed gratification completely changed the way he thought about possibilities. Law of compound interest. Invest now to see compound growth. The closest thing to financial magic, work its magic on your money over time. Maya made a promise to herself on her 22nd birthday. She would be financially independent by the age of 40. Just a clever understanding of compound interest, which most people never truly comprehend. And no six-figure salary or wealthy uncle. Every month, $300 vanished from her income and was invested in an index fund that generated a consistent 7% annual return. Nothing spectacular, just reliable. Maya was quietly accumulating wealth while her pals scoffed at her sporadic "no thanks" to brunches or the newest must-have technology. Those $300 payments remained steady despite rising rent and the upheaval of life. Instead of increasing expenditure, raises meant increasing investments. Time became Maya's greatest ally, as long as she maintained her financial discipline. Think about this: Maya, who was only 32 at the time, experienced the financial equivalent of alchemy when her $36,000 investment increased to over $51,000. How her money had been secretly multiplied by the amazing power of compound interest, with returns creating returns. This expansion not only persisted, but also sharply accelerated. By the age of 40, Maya's self-control had produced an incredible $150,000 while she slept. Her money was actively accumulating wealth rather than merely being stored. Without a doubt, Maya's financial success was not the result of exceptional earnings or fortunate investments. It was about using patience and compound interest, the most dependable force in money. Giving your steady assets the time they require to develop rapidly is the best wealth-building strategy you can use. Not a better salary or better market timing. Law of speed. Take hold of your ideas and go for them. Waiting for perfection is never as effective as doing, even if it is imperfect. Gold-washed early Manhattan. Over espresso, Maya Drummond went over her calendar. Despite having a lot of ideas, her design startup had not made much headway. She had studied the law of speed. In the fast-paced world of today, quick action is more important than perfection. Maya didn't think twice when a national brand unexpectedly asked for a next day. Pitch proposal an opportunity that may change the agency. She accepted they'll execute now, polish later instead of worrying about flaws. She sent her designers a text right away, saying, "Meet, intend bring, rough drafts, and wild ideas." Think about this. Maya's team finished deconstructing customer needs, producing prototypes, and coming up with possible slogans in less than an hour. Without hesitancy or constant improvement, they delivered bold, simple presentations by noon, choosing direction over perfection. The outcomes speak for themselves. As rivals painstakingly refined their presentations, the customer replied to Maya in less than an hour, emphasizing their remarkable promptness. Fastest team we've worked with. Larger, slower agencies were left behind, as Maya obtained the agreement before the end of the day. This is a guide for success in the modern corporate environment. Not only Maya's narrative, your speed becomes your competitive edge in an economy where acceleration is crucial. Go quickly, always adjust. Accept completion rather than perfection, because you can perform and succeed while others are flawless. That is all for this video. These laws, if you follow them on a regular basis, will change your life towards a more positive direction for your finances. The beauty of it all is that you don't have to spend one penny to follow these laws. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Please share your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Until next time.